Good morning, students. Now we are discussing chapter number 2 in science, acids, bases and salts. And we have just discussed a few basic things about properties of acids, properties of bases, okay, how you can determine a solution is acidic or a solution is basic using litmus paper or litmus solution, phenolphthalein solution, methyl orange, they are all indicators. You can use a pH paper also. pH paper will give you a better idea of the idea about acidity and basicity is okay when it comes to just knowing the solution's acidity. But how acidic? Is it a strong acid, strong base, weak acid, weak base? That you can come to know from the pH of the solution. And a pH paper is able to give you a better idea of the strength of an acid or the strength of a base, okay, or the weakness of an acid or weakness of a base. And we also discussed about pH, the pH of a solution, that pH scale. The pH scale is a universal scale. It is a pure number from 0 to 14. Any solution that has a pH of 7 is considered neutral. Pure water, distilled water is absolutely neutral. Its pH is 7. If a solution has a pH of less than 7, between 0 and 7, then it is acidic. The closer it is to 0, more acidic it is. From 7 to 14, it is basic in nature. The closer to 14 it is, the more basic it is. Strong concentrated acids, they have a pH closer to 1 and 0. For example, HCl, hydrochloric acid, that is nitric acid, HNO3, sulfuric acid, H2SO4, they are strong acids. And these strong acids have a pH closer to 1 and 0. But on the other hand, strong bases like potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide have a pH value close to 14, 13, 13.5, 14, depending upon the solution, where how it is prepared. Okay, the concentration in 1 molar solution, the concentration of hydronium ions and the concentration of hydroxyl ions in an aqueous solution, it can be quantified, and that quantification is through the pH scale. Alright, now that was about acids and bases. Now let's go to salts. Okay, we all have heard about salts, how salts are important, because the most common salt is the common salt, the cooking salt, okay, which is called sodium chloride, NaCl. And we know how useful it is. Remember, sodium chloride is a combination of sodium and chlorine. It's an ionic compound made up of ions of sodium and ions of chlorine, positive and negative ions. Ionic compounds are different from covalent compounds, which you have learnt in previous lessons. But sodium chloride, sodium by itself is dangerous. Okay, large quantity of sodium can kill a person also. Sodium and chlorine by themselves, they are quite dangerous. But when they combine to form sodium chloride, it becomes common salt. Okay, and it has got completely different properties from other compounds. And salts are formed when an acid and a base react. That process is called neutralization. Neutralization is a process by which, or a reaction in which, an acid combines with a base to form salt and water. The salt formed is the salt of the metal. Okay, for example, is sodium hydroxide combines with hydrochloric acid, then you get sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is a salt of sodium. Okay, so now let's learn a little about salts. In the previous section, we have seen the formation of salts during various reactions. Let us understand more about the preparation of salts and how their properties and uses are. Okay, now family of salts. Family of salts is very easy to understand. Okay, family of salts means basically, for example, see, write the chemical formula of salts given below. Potassium sulfate. Potassium sulfate is K2SO4. Sodium sulfate is Na2SO4. Now in both sodium sulfate and potassium sulfate, you can see the negative radical is sulfate. Sulfate is common. So it's a family of sulfate salts. Okay, calcium sulfate, again sulfate is common. Potassium, sodium and calcium, they are reacting with sulfur or sulfate and forming sulfate salts. So sulfate of potassium, sulfate of sodium and sulfate of calcium, they are all salts, but they are salts of sulfate, and therefore they are called sulfate salts. Similarly, magnesium sulfate, okay, copper sulfate, they are all salts of sulfate. In other words, they form a class or a family of salts called the sulfate salts. So here the negative radical, SO4 negative, the negative radical is common to all these salts. They form a class or a family of salts. Similarly, look at sodium chloride, sodium nitrate, sodium carbonate, ammonium chloride. Okay, if you look at them, their positive and negative radicals are different. They lie in different families. But if sodium chloride is there, then you have potassium chloride, you got aluminium chloride. Now in that case, chloride, they are called chloride salts. Salts of, that means either one positive radical should be common, okay, the metal should be common, or the non-metal should be common. So they are called family of different salts. Okay. Now identify the acids and bases from the above salts may be obtained. Okay, salts having the same positive or negative radicals are said to belong to a family. Okay, so what is a family of salts? Okay, here you can see the answer is here, a family of salts where the positive radical or the negative radical is the same. If the positive or radical is the same, then you got family of salts. What is a family of salts? Okay, and the answer is here, the family of salts is where positive and negative radicals are the same. Salts having the same positive and negative radicals. So you can see that salts having the same positive or negative radicals are said to belong to a family. For example, sodium chloride, sodium sulfate belong to the family of sodium salts. Okay, so these salts, they have either the positive radical common or the negative radical common. All right, now let us go ahead. All right, pH of salts. Just like acids and bases have their own pH, we have pH of salts also. Some salt solutions are acidic, some salt solutions are basic, but that depends upon the combination by which a salt is formed. For example, if a strong acid reacts with a strong base, listen carefully, if a strong acid, say like for example H2SO4, combines with a strong base like sodium hydroxide, NaOH, then the salt formed will be neutral because the acid is strong and the base is also strong. When the acid and base both are strong, you get a salt which is neutral. In the same way, if a weak acid combines with a weak salt, then also you will get a neutral salt. But if a strong acid combines with a weak base, then you get an acidic salt. And if a weak acid combines with a strong base, then you get a basic salt. So it's about, salts are formed basically by the combination of acids and bases. If the acid is strong, you get an acidic salt. If the base is strong, you get a basic salt. And if both are of equal strength, both are strong or both are weak, then you get a neutral salt. Okay, so let's discuss about that here. pH of salts. Collect the following salt samples: sodium chloride, potassium nitrate, aluminum chloride, zinc sulfate, copper sulfate, sodium acetate. Okay, sodium acetate is formed by combination of acetic acid and sodium hydroxide. Acetic acid is the weak acid. Sodium carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is NaHCO3, bicarbonate. Some other salts available can also be taken. Check their solubility in water. Use distilled water only. Because you see, the water that we drink, the potable water, is usually not meant for chemical testing. Okay, because it contains dissolved impurities. Pure water is used for testing. Pure water does not contain any dissolved impurities. Check the action of these solutions, that is the salt solutions, on litmus paper and find the pH using a pH paper. Which of the salts are acidic, basic or neutral? Identify the acids from the salts and report your observations. Now again, you see, as I said, let us just take, okay, for example, see, sodium chloride. Now sodium chloride can be, it's a neutral salt, because sodium chloride is formed by this combination of sodium hydroxide, which is a strong base, and hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric is a strong acid. Both are strong, you will get a neutral salt. Okay. On the other hand, look at sodium acetate. Sodium acetate is formed by the combination of acetic acid. Acetic acid is a weak acid. Okay, and sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base. So you will get a basic salt. So sodium acetate will be basic. Its pH will be greater than 7. Okay. Similarly, sodium carbonate and sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is sodium bicarbonate, you can test that. All you have to see is whether the acid is strong or weak, whether the base is strong or weak. Accordingly, the salt solution or the salt will be acidic, basic or neutral. Okay, now see what is written here. Be careful about this part. Okay, important, learn from this. Okay, this one. Here I have written, see, also salts of a strong acid and a strong base, both are strong, and therefore they are neutral with pH value of 7. On the other hand, if the salt is a salt of a strong acid and a weak base, will be acidic, slightly acidic, okay, and value of pH will be less than 7. And if it's a strong base but a weak acid, then its pH will be greater than 7 and it will be slightly basic in nature. Okay, so very easy to understand how you get acidic salts and basic salts or neutral salts. Okay, remember sodium chloride cooking salt is neutral because it is formed by the combination of strong acid and a strong base. Alright, you can see here just a little bit. Okay, yes, chemicals from common salt. Now common salt is quite common and therefore it is called common salt. It is cooking salt. It is available freely from sea water, which is the best way. Of course, it can be prepared in the laboratory also. It can be prepared in manufactured in factories. But you can get it from sea water also. If you have traveled to the sea coast, in many places, people actually prepare salt. They don't actually prepare it, but they obtain salt from sea water. You see, they create bunds or small pits in which the sea water is allowed to collect. And over a period of many days, the salt water begins to evaporate, leaving behind salt in the mud. It is impure, it is mixed with mud, it has to be purified. But that is how salt can be obtained. But that salt obtained from sea water contains many salts. You see, sea water is very difficult to drink, you know that, because it can make you vomit. And it contains lots of impurities, okay, including salts of different compounds, different types of salt, not just sodium chloride, magnesium chloride and aluminum chloride. What other kinds of salts? Thousands of different types of salts are there in seawater. That is why seawater is very saline or salty. Alright, chemicals from common salt. By now we have learned that the salt formed by the combination of hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide solution is called sodium chloride. Okay, a strong solution of sodium chloride, aqueous solution, is called brine, B-R-I-N-E. Alright, this is the salt that you use in food or for cooking. You must have observed in the above activity that this salt is neutral. The common salt is obviously neutral, right? And then of course a little bit about a photograph is there, but we'll discuss that later on. Seawater contains many salts dissolved in it. Sodium chloride is separated from the salt which is obtained. Otherwise, it contains lots of salts, the seawater. Deposits of solid salt are also found in several parts of the world. These large crystals are often brown due to impurities. Pure salt is white in color, but since there are lots of muddy impurities, it appears to be brown in color. This is called rock salt. It is called rock salt because it is obtained from the rocks and from the muddy environment in the soil, and that's why it's called brown in color and it's called rock salt. Beds of rock salts were formed when seas of bygone eras, bygone ages, thousands of millions of years ago, those seas, ancient seas and oceans, evaporated, leaving behind a lot of salt. Beds of rock salt were formed when seas of bygone ages dried up, leaving behind rock salt, and that can be mined also, just like you can mine coals and things like that. Okay. Again, the question is here, what is rock salt? This, what I've underlined, that is the answer for rock salt. You see, if you study this chapter carefully as I take you through the chapter, underline it, write questions out there, believe it or not, it will become a lot easier. And this is the way to study. Okay, you don't just study from question answers and from digest. Yes, they help you, they definitely help you, but this is the best way to study. Alright, let's go ahead now. You can see the Dandi March. All of the Dandi March was very famous by Gandhiji, India's independence struggle. Okay, and salt at that time was being taxed by the British government, and salt is so common that every household needs salt, and salt should never be taxed, especially high taxation on salt. That is unjust for especially the poor people, and therefore Gandhiji was against taxation on salt when the British government levied tax on the salts. Okay, so then it was a political movement also, not just for salt. It became a political movement because Gandhiji marched across to Dandi. Okay, right, he started from ashram, that is Sabarmati ashram on the banks of the river Sabarmati in Ahmedabad. From there he started this march and went right up to Dandi, South Gujarat, okay, where he was able to sort of prepare salt, and he said that salt should be free and it should not be taxed. Okay, and the British government of course retaliated also, but that's part of history. Alright, so you must have heard about Gandhiji's Dandi March. Did you know that sodium chloride was such an important symbol even in a struggle for freedom? Alright, Dandi March. That was then Common salt is a raw material from preparing many chemicals. The common salt thus obtained is an important raw material for various materials of daily use such as sodium hydroxide, okay, baking soda, washing soda, bleaching powder, and many more such compounds which can be prepared in the lab or in the factory. Let us see how one substance is used for making all these different substances. Common salt. Okay, here again, what is brine? What is brine and what is chlor-alkali process? We will discuss that just now. Sodium hydroxide. When electricity is passed through an aqueous solution of sodium chloride, aqueous solution of sodium chloride means sodium, that is salt, it is dissolved in water, and that concentrated solution is called brine. It decomposes to form sodium hydroxide. The process is called chlor-alkali process because of the products formed: chlor for chlorine and alkali for sodium hydroxide. Now look at the reaction there. Sodium chloride, remember you should not learn like for example some students would learn like this: 2NaCl plus 2H2O gives 2NaOH plus Cl2 plus H2. That is the wrong way. You see, that is not how you should learn. You should learn to balance the equation, but don't learn the numbers in front. For example, it should be sodium chloride, aqueous solution, plus water gives sodium hydroxide plus chlorine gas plus hydrogen gas. That is how you learn. Okay, so when electricity is passed through aqueous solution of sodium chloride, you get sodium hydroxide plus chlorine gas plus hydrogen gas. These two gases are evolved. So what should you be learning and how you should learn? You should learn when electricity is passed through an aqueous solution of sodium chloride, which is called brine, then you get sodium hydroxide plus chlorine gas plus hydrogen gas. That is what you should be learning. And this process is called the chlor-alkali process, because in this case the products are chlorine and an alkali. Which is an alkali? Sodium hydroxide. Okay, sodium hydroxide is an alkali plus chlorine gas is given out. That's why it is called chlor-alkali process. Alright, this one along with the diagram. Now it's along with this simple diagram. You should practice it many times and see. Chlorine gas is given off at the anode and hydrogen gas at the cathode. Alright, at the anode positive electrode, anode is the positive electrode and cathode is the negative electrode. Here you can see in the diagram, this is anode, okay, and this is cathode. Anode is the positive electrode, cathode is the negative electrode. Alright, so chlorine gas is given off at anode and at hydrogen gas is given off at the cathode. Now you can see this electrolytic vessel. Okay, this vessel is that sodium hydroxide solution is formed near the cathode. The three products produced in this process are all useful process. Chlorine is highly useful, hydrogen is useful, and sodium hydroxide is very useful in chemical industries. Okay, now just have a look at this chlor-alkali process, the diagram out here. There is an electrolytic vessel. This vessel is called an electrolytic vessel, and in this vessel brine, that is an aqueous solution of sodium chloride, is filled inside it. Then two electrodes, okay, metal electrodes, one is called the anode, the positive electrode, cathode is a negative electrode. They are dipped in the solution of brine. Now you can see it is connected to a battery, plus and minus. It is connected to a battery. When electric current is switched on, then because of the passage of electric current, hydrogen and chlorine gas are evolved and sodium hydroxide is formed. Now on the right hand side you can see brine containing sodium hydroxide. That solution is removed. Okay, that's brine containing sodium hydroxide solution is removed and you get purified sodium hydroxide later on, which you can use for different purposes. Chlorine gas, it can be used as a disinfectant, water treatment for drinking water in municipalities. What do municipalities do? They take drinking water which is to be purified and to be given to households. उसको प्योर करने के लिए क्या करते हैं वो लोग? क्लोरीन डिसॉल्व करते हैं उसमें, उसको क्लोरीनेशन बोलते हैं. क्लोरीन की वजह से जर्म्स मर जाते हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड डिसइंफेक्टिंग ड्रिंकिंग वाटर. एंड वो पानी जब हमारे घरों में आता है तो वो डिसइंफेक्टेड तो होता है, लेकिन कभी कभी क्लोरीन की स्मेल भी आती है. स्विमिंग पूल्स को डिसइंफेक्ट, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग वहां पे नहाने के लिए जाते हैं. लॉट्स ऑफ पीपल गो टू bathe in swimming pools. It can become dirty. Sometimes you can't even see what microbes are there because they're microscopic. The water may appear clean, but it may not be clean. So it has to be disinfected. Then chlorine gas is passed through swimming pool water. PVC pipes and many other solutions, disinfectants, CFCs, pesticides, in the preparation of PVC or in the preparation of disinfectant chemicals, CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, okay, pesticides. In the preparation of all this, chlorine gas is used. And of course, hydrogen gas can be used for cooking, it can be used for fuel, it can for margarine, preparation of margarine, ammonia for fertilizers, okay, NH3, that is ammonia. It can be used for different preparation. Hydrogen gas has got many uses. And of course, sodium hydroxide is a very important strong alkali. It is used in many chemical industries. So all this brine, electricity passing through brine, this process, chloralkali process, is extremely important and useful process. You should be able to learn this diagram also. All right, now here, okay, explain the preparation of bleaching powder with the help of its equation also. Whenever you are supposed to prepare this type of thing, you must always give. Here again I have written here, learn this diagram. How is sodium hydroxide produced by the chloralkali process? You should be able to learn it and reproduce it. I have told you once before and I'll say it again. Chemistry is all about learning. Lots of learning work. Those who are able to learn only will do well in chemistry. Those who always complain can't do well in chemistry. That's it's a fact. Okay. I'm a graduate of chemistry. My background is in chemistry and I know how much learning work is required. Okay, so be careful about this. You need plenty of learning work. Alright, now bleaching powder. Okay, bleaching powder is another common compound. We have all heard about bleaching powder and we have probably even used it. We have already come to know the chlorine. That chlorine is produced during the electrolysis of aqueous sodium chloride of brine. This chlorine gas is used for the manufacture of bleaching powder. That's why it is important to understand that how useful some processes are. This chlorine gas is used for the manufacture of bleaching powder. Bleaching powder is produced by the action of chlorine on dry slaked lime. Dry slaked lime is called calcium hydroxide. It's a simple compound. उसका common name is slaked lime. Dry because उसमें से moisture निकाला गया. All the moisture is removed. Okay, bleaching powder is represented as CaOCl2. It's a one mark question. CaOC. What is the formula of bleaching powder? CaOCl2. Though the actual composition is quite complex. When you manufacturing, the process is not so simple. You see what is given in the textbook, how it is prepared. It is slightly different from the actual manufacturing process in a factory because many factors are considered. But this is the basic idea. Okay, so when calcium hydroxide, dry calcium hydroxide, or what is called dry slaked lime, is passed, chlorine is passed over it. Chlorine is passed over it. You get calcium CaOCl2, that is actually bleaching powder plus water. Then the water is dried off and you get bleaching powder. Alright? Then bleaching powder is used for what? What is bleaching powder used for? For bleaching cotton and linen. Linen means it's just cotton, linen, cotton cloth. In the textile industry, for bleaching wood pulp and in paper factories, and for bleaching washed clothes in laundry. Okay, bleaching powder can be used to decolorize. Okay, if you want to decolorize something, bleaching powder is very useful for that. It can also be used as an oxidizing agent in many chemical industries and to make drinking water free from germs. Bleaching powder can be added to disinfect drinking water. Okay, and here again question, what are the uses of bleaching powder? Again I am telling you, okay, these you got to understand that these are important questions and you must learn them. What are the uses of bleaching powder? And that is why I actually highlighted them. Baking soda. Baking soda is commonly used in kitchens. We all know, जब इडली डोसा या कुछ बनाना है जिसमें उसको थोड़ा सा फूलना पड़ता है, okay, then we use baking soda. Most girls especially, they know how to use baking soda in the kitchen, and you know how to even sort of use it effectively to produce good all kinds of eatable items in the kitchen. And people who work in the kitchen know the use of baking soda. Baking soda is commonly used in the kitchen for making tasty, crispy pakoras, etc. Sometimes it is added for faster cooking, to make it faster, the process को fast करने के लिए. The chemical name of the compound is sodium hydrogen carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. Okay, this is the chemical name of baking soda. Okay, NaHCO3. All right, it is the chemical name of the compound is sodium hydrogen carbonate, and therefore it is an important compound, and it is produced using sodium chloride as one of the raw materials. NaCl. Now this is what you should be learning. Okay, you should be learning this. If you don't learn this, then you have a problem. Okay, this chemistry में अगर chemical reactions नहीं आएगा तो क्या आएगा? Obviously chemical reactions ही आएंगे, and you have to learn thousands of them. And As I said, always learn common reactions. Common reactions help you to sort of understand chemistry better. You can't learn thousands and thousands of reactions. If you learn common general reactions are most important in chemistry. So sodium chloride reacts with water and carbon dioxide and ammonia to give NH4Cl ammonium chloride plus NaHCO3 or baking soda, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay. Did you check the pH of sodium hydrogen carbonate in activity 2.14? Can you correlate why it can be used to neutralize an acid? Because its pH is more than 7. It is basic in nature. Sodium bicarbonate is basic in nature. It is a mild, non-corrosive basic salt. Okay, it is a mild, non-corrosive basic salt. It is a mild, non-corrosive basic salt. The following reaction takes place when it is heated during cooking. Alright, see that now what reaction takes place during the cooking process. So sodium bicarbonate, when it is heated, it produces sodium carbonate plus water plus carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is given off, a little bit of water droplets are always present there, and sodium carbonate is formed. Sodium hydrogen carbonate has got various uses in the household. That is what we use for, not in the kitchen only, but we use it in different ways. Baking soda. Alright, this is the uses of baking soda. Alright, now let's see this one. This part, these are the uses of baking soda. Uses of baking for making baking powder. Okay, then which is a mixture of baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, and a mild edible acid. Edible means something which you can eat. For example, vinegar. Vinegar is acid, but 1% acetic acid. 1% means it is extremely dilute. Okay, when you sprinkle it on onions or anything, it is not going to kill you. But of course, as I have always said in chemistry, always be careful before you put anything in your mouth. Dangerous habit, such as tartaric acid. When baking powder is heated or mixed in water, the following reaction takes place. Sodium bicarbonate reacts with hydrogen ions to form carbon dioxide, water, and sodium salt of that particular acid. Sodium salt of, suppose the acid used is acetic acid, then you will get sodium salt of acid, sodium acetate from any acid. Carbon dioxide produced during the reaction can cause bread or cake to rise. Okay, cake to rise, making them soft and spongy. केक फूल जाता है. ओके, इवन इडली जब बनाते हैं इडली फूलती है, बेकिंग सोडा की वजह से होता है, वरना वो होगा ही नहीं. ओके, unless you use that it will not rise like that. Then sodium hydrogen carbonate is also an ingredient in antacids. Antacids are tablets, medications which are available in the medical shops. They are used for acidity. जब acidity बहुत बढ़ जाती है, then you are given these tablets. Being alkaline, it neutralizes excess acid in the stomach and provides relief. It is also used in soda acid fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers, all of you have seen. Okay, when you bang it down on the ground, okay, the glass bottle inside it cracks open, and the chemicals mix, and that white foam comes up, and that white foam is used to cover a substance which is on fire. Washing soda. Alright, now let us come to washing soda. Another important chemical. Another chemical that can be obtained from sodium chloride is sodium carbonate, 10H2O, washing soda. You have seen about that sodium carbonate can be obtained by heating baking soda. Crystals of sodium carbonate gives washing soda. It is also a basic salt. And again, sodium carbonate plus 10 times water gives Na2CO3 plus 10 molecules of water. This is washing soda. As the name indicates, it is used for washing. Okay. Alright, let's carry on with this part. Alright, now we come to the next portion. You see, these are all chemicals which are produced in the lab. Okay, rather not in the lab, but they are produced in the manufacturing plant, in an industry, in factories. What does 10H2O signify? It signifies that does it make Na2CO3 wet? We will address this question in the next section. You see, it is hydrous. Hydrous means it contains a bit of water. So then the water has to be evaporated so that you get a pure compound. Sodium carbonate and sodium hydrogen carbonate are useful chemicals for many industrial processes as well. Alright, this is all learning work. Okay, once again I'll highlight this portion so you understand this. Okay, uses of, alright, these are uses of If you just press, if when I you see, when I finish the chapter, I will be sending you two things, especially those who are really interested. Of course, I will send PDF. I'll try and send PDF, of course, these question answers to everyone. Okay, I see that some students are simply not interested at all. They don't seem to be working. They think that this lockdown thing is actually supposed to be a fun period where you can enjoy and relax and consider it like a vacation. It's not a vacation. Okay, you better start learning. And I will also send my personal notes, PDF notes, which will help you to prepare also. Okay, and each one, these PDF notes, if you highlight them, you will see what is to be learned. Like for example, you can see here, okay, what is to be learned. You will be able to easily see this part. Okay, so you can see that it is not really difficult. If you, when you get my notes, you'll be able to actually understand what is the important part of each chapter and where and what to learn. All right, now let us carry on. Usage of washing soda. Sodium carbonate washing is used in glass, preparation of glass, soap and paper industries. It is used in the manufacture of sodium compounds such as borax. बोरेक्स कभी कभी जो लोग कैरम खेलते हैं ना, उसको मालूम होगा, बोरेक्स पाउडर यूज करते हैं टू रिड्यूस फ्रिक्शन. कैरम कभी कभी क्या एकदम, इट्स नॉट स्लिपरी, it becomes a little bit moist, or it's a little bit rough and not smooth enough. So what happens, a little bit of borax powder can be sprinkled on the carom board, and then you play carom, you will see the striker smoothly floats around the whole carom board. Okay, it just moves very rapidly. So borax, sodium carbonate can be used as a cleansing agent or a cleaning agent for domestic purposes also. It is used for removing permanent hardness of water. You see, sea water, for example, is hard water. Now, what is hard and soft water? Hard water is water that contains salts of magnesium, sodium and magnesium, potassium salts, sodium salts. A number of salts are present in hard water, and that hard water cannot be used for washing or even bathing, because if you try to wash clothes with hard water, it will not form foam, it will not form lather with soap, and therefore to remove the hardness it has to be boiled, or it has to be chemically treated with washing soda. Okay, for example, if you wash clothes with hard water, if you use hard water in wherever many places as hard water, salty water, saline water, उसमें कपड़े नहीं धो सकते हैं. उस कपड़े में धोने की वजह से, अगर हम कपड़े धोते हैं हार्ड वाटर से, तो जांक नहीं बनता है साबुन से. ओके, इट विल नॉट फॉर्म लादर, क्लीनिंग अच्छी तरह से नहीं होगा, इसलिए हम डिटर्जेंट पाउडर यूज करते हैं. Okay, washing soda से ये बनता है detergent powders. Are the crystals of salt really dry? Now let us understand this. Okay, take this activity. You can see there is a Bunsen burner. This burner is called a Bunsen burner. B-U-N-S-E-N. Bunsen burner. There is a hard glass test tube. Remember, I have been talking about hard glass test tube, which is used for heating. Otherwise, it will crack. A pair of tongs for holding it. A pair of tongs boiling tube. Boiling tube is also called a hard glass test tube. Water droplets. When you boil, when you take copper sulfate crystals of copper sulfate, these crystals of copper sulfate contain water molecules. So as soon as you start boiling it, you will see droplets of water on the inner surface of the test tube. Okay, the water begins to evaporate, and all the water droplets evaporate from the copper salt. Heat a few crystals of copper sulfate in a dry boiling tube or a test tube. What is the color of copper sulfate after the heating? The color changes slightly from dark brown to lightish in color. Do you notice water droplets in the boiling tube? Where have these come from? From the copper sulfate itself. Add 2 to 3 drops of water on the sample of copper sulfate obtained after heating. What do you observe? Is the blue color of copper sulfate restored? Yes. As soon as you add water to it, it will again become bluish in color. Otherwise, it will become dark brown without the water. Okay, so that actually shows the presence of moisture in salts. Okay, then this experiment is for removing water of crystallization. Crystals जब बनते हैं ना, तो उसके अंदर थोड़ा पानी होता है. This process is called water of removing the water of crystallization, and that water in the crystals is called water of crystallization. Alright. Now, copper sulfate crystals, which seem to be dry, contain water of crystallization. When we heat the crystals, this water is removed and the salt turns slightly white in color. Okay, just highlighting this part. Okay, it turns white in color. All right. If you moisten, add a few drops of water to the crystals again with water, you will find the blue color of crystals is again, it reappears. See, these are small questions, 1 mark questions. If you have studied the chapter properly, only then you can answer these questions. First, in higher classes, you have to be prepared to study hard, spend more time at your table. Okay, only then you can score marks, otherwise there is no way. Okay, water of crystallization is the fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of a salt. Alright, what is water of crystallization? Water of crystallization is the fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of a salt. That is molecular unit. For example, sodium hydroxide, the molecular unit is 40. Okay, 1 mole of a substance. Right, 5 water molecules are present in one formula unit of copper sulfate. That's why we write DOC 5H2O. Chemical formula of hydrated copper sulfate is, see this. Okay, chemical formula of hydrated copper sulfate. CuSO4 is copper sulfate, but that is copper sulfate salt without the water molecules. But the moment water is added, it becomes, you get what is called water of crystallization, and that gives it its blue color. 5 molecules of H2O. Now you will be able to answer the question whether the molecule of Na2CO3, 10 molecules of water, is wet or not. It's not really wet. It contains molecules of water. Okay. One other salt which possesses water of crystallization is gypsum. Gypsum is used in a cement also. Alright. It has 2 water molecules as water of crystallization. It has the chemical formula calcium sulfate, 2 molecules of water. Okay. Again, I'll highlight this because this is important. Right, let's carry on. Plaster of Paris now. Another, of course, it's called plaster of Paris because it was first invented by a French scientist. That's why it's called the plaster of Paris. All of us have seen plaster of Paris. It is a white, off-white, cream-colored compound powder. Actually, it is quite white in color. Okay, you can take it in your hand also. It's harmless. When you put water in it, it quickly hardens. वो जल्दी hard हो जाता है सीमेंट की तरह. But सीमेंट की तरह इतना hard नहीं है. प्लास्टर ऑफ पेरिस को अगर थोड़ा सा हैमर से मारो तो वो टूट जाएगा. Okay, plaster of Paris. On heating gypsum at 373 degrees Kelvin, it loses water molecules and becomes calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Calcium sulfate hemihydrate. This is called plaster of Paris. Okay, this is called plaster of Paris. Now, calcium hemihydrate. Okay, just remember the formula. The substance which doctors use as a plaster supporting fractured bones in the right position. Plaster of Paris is a white powder, and on mixing with water, it changes to gypsum, once again giving a hard solid mass. Okay, this part, and of course the reaction also. Alright, this reaction, calcium sulfate, half a molecule of H2O plus 1.5 molecule of H2O gives calcium sulfate 2 molecules of H2O. That is plaster of Paris. When it reacts with water, you get gypsum. All of us have seen that students who have fractured bones, फिर उसको plaster में बोलते हैं plaster, but actually it is plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris से उसको लगा देते हैं उसके हाथ के ऊपर जहाँ पे फ्रैक्चर हुआ है, धीरे धीरे वो हार्ड हो जाता है. उसके साथ बैंडेज भी लगाते हैं. So the plaster of Paris मजबूत हो जाता है, वहीं पे पकड़ लेता है. That is how fractured bones are set straight. Okay. Of course, it is also used for decorative purposes. Ceiling को decorate करने के लिए plaster of Paris use सकते हैं. You can also use plaster of Paris for making small statues. Okay, toys and statuettes. Note that only half a water molecule is shown to be attached as water of crystallization. How can you get half a water molecule? It is written in this form because 2 formula units of calcium sulfate share 1 molecule of water. Plaster of Paris is used for making toys, materials for decoration, and for making surfaces smooth. Okay. Again, what are the uses of plaster of Paris? Okay, it is used for making toys, materials for decoration, and for making surfaces smooth. Ceiling, कई लोग अपने ceiling के ऊपर भी plaster of Paris use करते हैं. Alright, there are some questions, and these questions, of course, I already covered. Okay, all these questions here. Below that, now we come to the exercises. The chapter is over. Okay, we come to the exercises. All of these exercises has been covered. Okay, and if you still have a question, you are most welcome to ask me. All these questions have been covered in the PDF. Okay, so just make sure that you go through the PDF carefully, and that PDF is not simply for I mean, having a look on your mobile phone or your tablet or anything like that. Okay, it is meant for you to actually. Okay, it is actually meant for you to learn. You can learn from your PDF, and you can also learn from your. You can download it. Okay, when I send it to you, you can download it to your mobile. Just save it to your mobile or tablet, and after you have saved it, you can look at it a number of times. The best thing to do would be to write those question answers in your notebook, because then it will be easier to study from your notebook. And these are official question answers from the chapter itself. In addition to that, I have given extra question and answers, some multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks, those kind of questions also I have given in addition to what is there in the textbook. So make sure you put an effort. As I have said, chemistry is all about hard work. Without that, you got no chance. I'm telling you very seriously. Okay, physics becomes a bit easier. Okay, but biology, especially chemistry is all about chemical reactions. You have to put in hard work. All right, now in the coming few days I will be doing two things once again. One video of science, the next video of science will be on physics, the second chapter of physics. Okay, the colorful world of light, and that second chapter of physics. And then after that, one chapter of biology. So I will be carrying on lessons of science, one video every day, and one video of maths every day, so that we are not behind in any way. Maths, right now we are doing trigonometry. After trigonometry is over, I'll start statistics lesson. Okay, so that there is no problem at all. Meanwhile, you keep working hard. Okay, that's the only way to do it. Board exams will be held in March as usual, so you have to be prepared. So carry on. Okay, have a nice day and stay safe.